Hi vinyl community, it's Phil. Greetings from British Columbia, Canada. I'm here to do the video that I talked about in my last one yesterday, my 50 favorite albums. Before I get into it, just a couple of criteria here for this list. I did not want to fill the list with nothing but Beatles and Zeppelin and Pink Floyd, etc., etc. So I've limited myself to 3 albums per band. Otherwise, it'd just be, a Beatles review or a Zeppelin review, whatever. We don't want to see that. Um, I got eliminated all greatest hits and live albums, no compilations of any kind like that. Um, and that's about it. Please keep in mind while you're watching this that these are this is my opinion. These are albums that I like to listen to. I'm not stating that these are the best albums, the most critically acclaimed, or bestsellers, anything like that. This is just what I happen to be like to listen to. So, remember that if you're making comments and giving thumbs up or down. Um, Everybody listens to music differently and interprets it differently, and this is what I like to listen to. So, I'm going to start with 50 through 26. And these albums, while I love them all, I could easily go through my record list again and again and probably substitute another 25 for these or change the order. So this is as close as I could get it. And the top 25 I'm going to say are really my 25 favorite albums. But again, the order could change depending on my mood and what I've been listening to. And we'll just get into it here. So coming in at number 50. Oh, and by the way, I may break this up into 2 videos, depending on how the time goes. Nobody, I mean, not even my wife wants to listen to me ramble on and on forever. So, here we go. Number 50, Cat Stevens, Teaser and the Firecat. Fantastic album. The hits on this one for Morning is Broken, Moon Shadow, and Peace Train. But the whole album is just great. It's a great listen. It's good mellow music. If Cat Stevens is just a fantastic artist. So I'm gonna put that down there. And number 49, one that I've never seen reviewed here on YouTube, but Dire Straits' "Love Over Gold." It's not their most popular album. It's not their biggest seller. The only hit off this that I remember hearing on the radio was "Industrial Disease," but really, "Telegraph Road" is a fantastic, fantastic song, and it sort of sets the tone for the whole album. It's not a cheery album, but again, Dire Straits were not known for their cheery music really until they did "Swimming by the Pool" or "Surfing by the Pool." I'm not sure what that song was, but "Love Over Gold," Dire Straits. That's a fantastic album. I love that one. Number 48, my third favorite group. That again didn't really make it big over here in North America, at least not in Canada anyway. I don't know about the States, but a lot of people over here don't seem to know about them a lot. Status Quo, "Rockin' All Over the World." This is a fun album. This is just, Status Quo is not the most sophisticated band. The joke is, how many chords do these guys know for their guitars? They only play 3 or 4 chords, it seems, but it's good, flat out rock and roll. The guys can play, the guys can sing, they can write songs. This is a really good album. If you don't know this group, go back to Live Aid footage. They opened it up, the whole thing, with the tune "Rockin' All Over the World." It was actually written by John Fogerty of CCR, but great album. Great band. They have like 1,000 albums out. Check them out if you don't know them. Number 47, David Bowie, "Diamond Dogs." God, this is a great one. It's my favorite of Bowie's anyway. Future Legend, Diamond Dogs. All the songs sort of roll into one another. It doesn't seem to really be a break between them. Rebel Rebel is on here somewhere. The last song on side 1. It's a great song. Really, the whole album is just spot on. Classic Bowie. Number 46, Supertramp, "Crime of the Century." Iconic cover. Everybody knows this cover. You know, you just say, you show this without the writing, everyone knows who it is. School, Bloody Well Right, Hide in Your Shell were all great songs. Dreamer and Rudy. Really, there's not a sour note on this whole album. And I've seen a lot of people review Supertramp, and it's always rated highly in their collection. Number 45, Moontan, Golden Earring. And you may not know this cover. I don't think it was under the same cover on the worldwide releases in Canada. This is what we got. And this, of course, has Radar Love on it. And that's all anybody seems to know about it. But Candy's Going Bad, Vanilla Queen. It's a great album all the way through. Just give this a spin. If you haven't heard this album and all you hear is Radar Love, pick that up or Google it. Listen to the whole thing. It's really a great album. It's sort of a theme album, like like everybody has one. I'd say if every group has a masterpiece, that would be theirs. Number 44, Canadian band, local band from Vancouver here. They were huge in the mid to late 70s or early 80s in Canada. I think they broke into the States a bit. I don't know about in Europe. I don't think so. But Trooper, this is their first album. This is sort of reminiscent of their bar band days, and this is a really hard rocker. All their subsequent albums sort of tended towards singles and more catchier stuff, but this one shows them being their raw selves when they were a bar band, and it's great. The hits off of this one were General Hand Grenade and Baby Won't You Please Come Home. Roller Rink was a local favorite as well here, got some airplay, but the whole album is just really fantastic. I don't know if you can get that one down in the States or find it. You might be able to Google it, but they didn't really become famous till a couple of albums after that. Number 43, British band Girl School, Hit and Run. I love this album. These four ladies sure know how to rock. There's not a ballad on here. They just grab you by the throat and go, and they don't stop. And it's just fantastic, flat out rock and roll. Great group. I got 3 or 4 of them, but that is my favorite of theirs. Number 42, Blue Oyster Cult. Most people's favorite of Blue Oyster Cult seems to be Secret Treaties, and I love that album, don't get me wrong. But for whatever reason, Spectres caught my ear more. I don't know why, but Dare to Be Different, I say. It's got Godzilla on it, but that isn't the really big one that I love. Golden Age of Leather is fantastic. Fireworks is great. Are You Ready to Rock? Celestial, the Queen. It's just, again, it's another one of those albums that just grabs you and doesn't let go. Blue Oyster Cult, I love them, but that's my favorite of theirs. Number 41, Machine Head, Deep Purple. What can you say about this iconic classic album? Everybody knows this one. A great heavy rock band. Highway Star. Who doesn't know that one, right? Number 40. Another Canadian band, but well known in the States, probably in Europe as well. I don't know. I'm sure they are. Bachman Turner Overdrive, Four Wheel Drive, another Vancouver band. Got the song Four Wheel Drive. Hey You was a single, everyone knows that one. Quick Change Artist was a minor hit, I think. Really good hard driving, hard rock, big bass driven hard rock album there from BTO. And number 39, another Supertramp, my favorite of theirs, Crisis What Crisis. Great album cover. Supertramp, great album covers. Sister Moonshine, Easy Does It, Another Man's Woman. Really good, cool to listen to album. So, number 38, arguably the most depressing album I've ever heard. I mean, it's fantastic. Every song on here is a story, and every song on here is just perfectly done. The musicianship, the singing, everything is just fantastic. But oh my god, it's depressing. Everything on here makes you just want to Oh, what was this lady thinking when she did this album? Just pouring her heart out here. And that is Tracy Chapman's debut album, self-titled Tracy Chapman. Talking about a revolution, fast car, behind the wall, just, you know, fantastic. If you haven't heard this, give that a spin. Every song on there is excellent. Number 36, we go back in time to the mid 70s, I'd say, and that is Backless, Eric Clapton. Great album. I mean, you can't go wrong with Eric Clapton. The guy's just a freaking genius. Uh, Early in the Morning, Promises, Tulsa Time, Tell Me That You Love Me, Watch Out for Lucy, Walk On. Every song on this album is perfect. Number 36. Another classic one, iconic cover. I could cover up the name and everyone would know who this is. I mean, it's one of probably his biggest album, I'm guessing. Billy Joel, The Stranger. It's just another great listen. Vienna, Only the Good Die Young, She's Always a Woman. Moving Out, Stranger, Scenes from an Italian Restaurant is a fantastic storytelling song. Yeah, I love Billy Joel, and that's my favorite of his. 35, and this is an album I don't see get a lot of love. I mean, it never gets rated in the top half of their collection, it seems. But for whatever reason, I love this album. I don't think it gets quite the recognition it deserves from most people. But Zeppelin, Into the Outdoor, and I have 4 of the 6 copies of this. I'm looking for 2 of the other covers, and they seem to be hard to find. But I have 4 of them, and I don't get why that album doesn't get the love I feel it deserves anyway. I love that album. Not my favorite of theirs, but it's still great. Number 34, Local Boys, BTO again. Not Fragile, again another just straight driving hard rock album. Rolling Down the Highway, Not Fragile with the title track. You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet was of course the big hit. Rock Is My Life and This Is My Song, sort of a bluesy song. BTO did one of those on every album it seems, but really another great hard rock album. If you just want to get down, that's an album to listen to. Number 33, arguably the greatest debut album of all time, and I'll say arguably. There's just not a sour note on this album. Boston's debut album. I didn't even know who Boston was. I just read about them in a magazine, a newspaper article, or something like that. No, it was Music Express, a little flyer that came out to the local record stores. It was free. You just pick one up out of the rack, and I read about up-and-coming bands or new bands. And yeah, I read this article about Tom Schultz and some flood in his basement and how he was trying to record this album. And I thought, wow, this guy seems pretty high on himself and his band. I'll give it a listen. I saw it on the shelf and picked it up without hearing any of it, and wow, what a listen that is. Just a fantastic album. It's really too bad they sort of faded out of view. They did 4 albums, I think. The second one, Don't Look Back, was a fantastic album as well, but maybe not quite as good. That was a hard one to follow up. Where are we here? Well, I've lost count. Number 32. Again, another local Vancouver band that's started in the bars, and they're sort of an offshoot of Chilliwack, which is another local band here, and a great hard rocking album. Local group, the Headpins. This album's called Turn It Loud. It was their debut, and the first song is the title track, Turn It Loud, and the lead singer here, Darby Mills, what a set of pipes. Wow, she just grabs you by the throat, doesn't let go, pedal to the metal all the way. Great album. If you haven't heard this, please try and find it if you like hard rock. Not everybody loves her voice, but you don't know until you try it, right? Fantastic album, real hard rock. Number 31, and I'm going to get a little bit of flack for. I'm going to get some flack for some of the order of these things, but again, keep in mind this is just my opinion. Again, I'm not saying these albums are the best or the greatest or the most artistic. This is just what I like to listen to, and the order is flexible, okay? So, number 31, Led Zepp 4. Just iconic. I don't have to talk one word about that one. Just speaks for itself when you say it. Okay, so we're into the top 30. And I'm going to have a quick drink of water because I can feel my voice going. Was out record hunting this morning with my brother, and then my buddy phoned and says, hey, you want to get some twilight golf in? So I was out in the sun for the last 3 hours of the day. I'm a little parched. Number 30. Anyone who's seen the movie Bohemian Rhapsody knows all the story about this album, Queen, A Night at the Opera. This is my original copy. It's a little beat up because I played it to death, but it's just fantastic. Everyone, been living under a rock if you haven't seen the movie or heard about the movie or heard that album. Number 29. I had trouble finding this on video or on vinyl. Pardon me. It came out on the CD in the CD area. It was one of the first CDs I bought when CDs came out and replaced vinyl, and I've been looking for it on vinyl ever since. It was finally out on new vinyl, and I finally got a copy of it for under $30. I had to go to Sunrise for this. It's not a knock on Sunrise, but it's just not my favorite store. I'm not really into new vinyl unless I absolutely have to. But it's Concrete Blonde, Bloodletting. Just again another dark album. The songs all have a dark theme, and it's sort of a thematic album if you listen to it from start to finish. The hit off of this was Joey, but really it's not my favorite album. It's not my favorite song on the album. I would pick Caroline if I was to pick a favorite song off of this, but really the whole thing is just a pleasure to listen to from track one on. Great album. Number 28. Not my favorite group. I loved their first and second albums, and then they sort of went, I don't know. I don't know what went wrong with them. They were still good, but I preferred this one when it came out. And this one seemed to come out with no great fanfare. I saw it on the record shelf one day in the store, and wow, I didn't know they had a new album out. And I didn't hear anything about it, and it didn't seem to do as well as their previous releases, but it was probably the hardest edged album they had, the dirtiest and low down album they put out. Some really mean guitar work in this one, and that's Van Halen, Fair Warning. My favorite of theirs. Just a really mean album. There's some really great guitar riffs on this. Mean Street is a fantastic song. I don't remember if there was a single out of this one or not. I think Unchained I think was a radio hit. You don't hear about this album very much on it. Everybody reviews 1 and 2 and maybe Women and Children first, but this really is my favorite of theirs. It just has an edge to it that I like. And now we're going to get into number 27, and everyone's saying, well, where's the Beatles album? Where's the Beatles? I told you there's only going to be 3 of each group in here at most. I didn't want to load it up with Beatles and Zeppelin, etc., etc., etc. So, Hard Day's Night, and this is the British copy, a stereo copy. I have a mono as well, but this is the stereo version, and this is actually one from England on Parlophone. And I haven't played this one. I've played the mono version. I don't see the need to drop a needle on both of them and risk wearing one or wearing both. Pardon me, but this is just a fun album. It was a fun movie, just them being silly and having fun. And the album has the same feel. Just every song on here is great. You can sing along to every song. The words are easy to learn. You can sing along to that in the car. My wife and I just love that album to death. If we're going to play a Beatles album, 9 times out of 10 that's it. It's not my favorite. There's more coming. Don't jump on me at that comment. But it's just a fun album, right? Rounding up the bottom 25, and as you can see from some of the albums in here, this is not a bottom feeding list. There's some great albums in here. Hopefully some of you people don't know, and maybe you take some investigating some new bands you don't know about. That's the whole purpose of music, isn't it? To learn something new and listen to something new and discover a new band that maybe you don't know. But music's all entertainment, so again, don't take this list personal, please. It's just what I listen to. Number 26. Another debut album, another Canadian album. Um, the big hit off of this one was Black Velvet. It's Alannah Myles, her debut album. And this was from 1990, I want to say, or 91. 89. 89. But a fantastic album. Boy, this lady can sing. Still got this thing, just a great rocker. Black Velvet was the big hit, bluesy song. Then she just kicks butt. Rock This Joint, Lover of Mine, Kickstart My Heart. Just fantastic album. If you haven't heard the whole thing, if all you heard was the single Black Velvet, please pick this up and try it. She's just got a set of pipes that just don't give up. The lady can really, really rock. Now I'm at 21 minutes. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you all a break from my voice, and I'm going to call this one a done, and then I'll come back and do a second video, part 2 from 25 to 1, so you don't have to listen to it all at one stretch and come back to it. So I will say good night for now, and I will come back in a little bit and do 25 through number 1. And yeah, this is where you're going to get into what really are my top 25 albums. Again, the order will be flexible, but I'll go over that again. So good night, and I will see you on the flip side. Bye.